Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Chall, and today Chall Chats York Maze Hallowscream 2023. Here at Chall Chats, we're at the opening evening for York Maze Hallowscream 2023 this year. Of course, this event's gone through numerous changes over the years. We had an appointment with the Undertakers, we did some voodoo magic with the seance, but of course we also experienced some other attractions and experiences as well. Stepping into the twisted world of Barnageddon, and of course stepping into the Flash Pot, which is now the longest operating maze in the event. Now then, for 2023, along with the Flash Pot, you've got three other returning mazes. You've got 2073, you've got the Singularity, and you've also got Corny's Cornevil. Now, there is one brand new maze this year themed to the Egyptians. Will you be entombed forever in Necropolis? We're going to review each individual maze in detail. We're also going to talk a bit more about the roaming characters and entertainment in this video as well. And also give our scare ratings. So before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell to this YouTube video. Make sure you go and check out the official montage that we did, over 6 minutes long, from the event. Show a bit more of the roaming stuff, a bit more of the theming and the lighting around the event, just a bit of a montage, that kind of thing. So there is an extra video from Hallowscream compared to the Fear Factory press night, which we have put on the channel already. And for now, guys, let's get started talking about York Maze Hallowscream 2023, and of course stay tuned for more theme park videos to come over the next few weeks. So let's start then with roaming entertainment and also the ticketing, because I wanted to sort of show something very specific in this video, and that's this. Now, this was mine on the night. This was the unlimited fast track ticket. Now, because we were media, because we were theme park journalism / press, we were given an exclusive invite to come to the opening night on the Friday the 13th, 15th of October. I keep forgetting what day it is already. And yeah, so basically on the Friday we were invited to the opening night. So a massive thank you once again to York Maze Hallowscream for this. It was greatly appreciated. Obviously also a huge thank you to Dogs to Fear Factory for the 8th of October as well. Really love these opportunities and plenty more, fingers crossed, in 2024. But no, so this is the unlimited fast track ticket, and this leads me to start off with the ticketing for the event and some of the things that they did in terms of batching people in. So, this is the unlimited fast track that we had, but of course you can get other different types of fast track at the event. Now, if you do want to check out the prices, they will be on the York Maze Hallowscream website, which I've linked in the description down below. So basically what it was is this little wristband. Don't forget, those of you who have experienced York Maze Hallowscream before, it was different last year and years before that. So basically what this is this you wore on your wrist as a wristband. And then basically what happens is you then go into the standard queue or fast track queue, depending on which wristband you get, or you buy obviously on more public openings as well. And basically this gets you through the queues and things like that. So purple for unlimited fast track, orange I believe is the colour for the standard ones. But basically what's different this year compared to previous years is you go through the mazes as many times as you want. It is unlimited, and that includes the rides as well. You've got the Miami Wave, you've got the kind of wave attraction there, you've got the waltzers, and you've got the dodgers. So you've got three nice attractions there to add into the mazes as many times as you would like. So, for the sort of press coverage for the opening night, we were given unlimited fast track for the mazes and the rides in the fast track queues rather than standard queues. So massive shout out to Hallowscream for that. Really do appreciate it as always. And yes, we managed to go through the mazes and rides as many times as we wanted by using the fast track queue rather than the standard queue, which, to be fair, walking past some of the standard queues during the night, it was basically, you were looking at 4 or 5 minutes minimum for the queues at times. So completely, you know, it was fantastic to get that from Hallowscream for the fast track queue. In terms of batching, in terms of bringing people in, they did it different again this year. So what happened this year was everyone sort of hung around on the plaza area, the outside section with the bar, and you had the roaming characters coming down and things like that. Obviously, one of the elements of Hallowscream that's long since gone now from a couple of years ago is there was this kind of barn. So beforehand, a few years ago, you would enter through in like a little outdoor queue line into a big barn, and they have like a pre-show in the big barn. You remember the big talking head, where it's like, "Welcome, foolish mortals." That kind of talking head. If you remember that one, comment down below, because I certainly do. Basically, what it is, what it's been for the last couple of years, you're diverted the other side onto the right-hand side, I believe. It might be some people's left. Can't tell. But basically, no, you divert the other way now, and you go around the barn, and basically you've got this side street straight away. Whereas before, you would go in the big barn for the pre-show a few years ago, and then come out of that way, either by chased out by chainsaw, or just calmly exit the barn. The pre-show barn, I call it. And basically what they're doing this year with that diversion is they're keeping everyone in the plaza area or bar area for a good half an hour or so, depending when you arrive. And then when all the mazes are ready to open, they cut the ribbon and they let you straight into the Hallowscream entrance right outside the Scare Maze marquee, which is where all the mazes entrances are. So it's a bit different this year. I think in terms of crowd control, I think it will work. On busier days, it'll be a lot harder because obviously you're going to have a lot of people in that plaza area. Then you open the marquee, the entrance to the Scare Maze marquee, and then bam, a lot of people are going to try and enter through there. So you have to really keep a close eye on crowd control. But I think York Maze Hallowscream's got the capabilities to do that. Another big addition this year was the addition of better signposting around of the location. So to find certain things, like if you want to go to the rise, they point this way and things like that. They've done the signs a bit more clearer now and made it a bit better as well. So I think the signposting and the advertisement for different sections of the site has been improved this year, which I really, really like. I think the theming outside as well has been vastly improved. Obviously, you've got the giant spider still outside. You've got the roaming characters still walking around. But you've got a couple of new bits of theming. You've got the brand new big sign, which has gone in. You've got this kind of skeleton pirate next to it. You've also got a big pirate sort of holding a pitchfork. A big skeleton holding a pitchfork. And I think that's some nice additions there. You've got some new theming inside the tent as well. You've got the returning theming. So you've got a mix of new and returning. You've got the Tower of Skulls sort of just at the entrance on the other side as you're going out of the marquee. I think that was a really nice bit of theming there especially. I think the lighting package this year in the tent was spot on. And overall, I think the whole presentation of the event was a lot more, standout. I think last year it was great. This year was just even better. And I think it gave a real vibe and a real rave feeling about it with the lighting, with the blue and red, and it kind of spotlighting, and the circular light deck at the top of the ceiling of the tent that blew down smoke every now and then. Again, fantastic. The DJ set, there's usually a big DJ tower in the middle of that marquee. That's been removed. The wolf bit of theming around that was also been moved to the side, and that's now its own bit of theming with a bubble machine attached to it at the side. And now the DJ, I believe, I might have spotted it. If I have done it right, comment down below, Hallowscream, please. But I think the DJ for the sound is actually now on the spinning skull chair at the top of the theatrical stage at the right-hand side as soon as you come into the marquee. So, very nice indeed. So now we're going to go into each individual maze, rate them out of 10, and give you my overall thoughts. So from this point on, there is a spoiler alert. So the first maze we're going to talk about is the brand new maze for 2023. It is Necropolis. It's the brand new Egyptian-themed maze. Will you be entombed forever? Will you be trapped by the Pharaoh's curse? So this is replacing Barnageddon 3D. If you're probably thinking about last year's lineup and thinking, where's Barnageddon 3D? It has gone. It's gone. And you know what? I was kind of intrigued going into this event thinking, how's this replacement going to act? How's it going to fit in the location? First of all, the exterior of the maze. I think that the two sphinxes, as you're going through like the sandy stone chamber into the little bit of indoor queue before you're batched in group by group, I think that the theming outside, first of all, was spot on. I think the whole kind of entranceway to Necropolis is kind of an example of what they could be doing going forward to really enhance and maximise the theming level and detail of the mazes. So it was sort of taking it up that next level from this point onwards. Obviously, it's at a good level already, but it's now taking it that next step on. And I think the theming inside will tell you that as well. So basically, you go in. In terms of the storyline throughout the maze, obviously we know about the story from the description on the website. It's about, will you be entombed forever? this Pharaoh's curse, you're sort of going through this tomb, and it's like you're sort of seeing the mummification process in different stages, and the remains and things like that. I think it's a good storyline. Parts of the maze inside, I'll be completely honest, weren't clear of that. I'll be honest with you. For me, I think that let's go on to positives first before we go into constructive criticism. So I don't really call it criticism, I call it constructive feedback. So first of all, positives. Acting quality in this and all throughout the rest of the mazes, as a general positive, were great. It's when you know an event for so long. I've been going to this event for the last few years now, and to be in a position where still 5 years on and the acting quality is still up to a certain level, a certain high quality of level is just spot on, no matter how familiar the actors may recognise you from. Because I got recognised quite a lot by some of the actors. The twins, Scott, who's got the massive mohawk and the clown face paint, is just fantastic as always. So if any of the actors are watching, hi. But yeah, overall throughout the maze itself, the acting quality was spot on. The theming inside, I went on about the theming outside, but the theming inside was just spot on. The detail, even from the outlines of shapes lightly brightened up into the walls. Brighten up? Yeah, I think even the shapes in the walls, the tight corridors, the sandy walls, the tomb scene, the specific tomb scene when you got a body on the table and they're kind of, going around it, and the actors are going around it, and it's all bloody and gory and things like that. I think it was just spot on. I really think it was spot on. There was like a discovery guy in a adventure hat, with a bit of a scare at the end as well. We did 2 run-throughs of the maze, one filming inside and then one just having a look around to find any extra details. If there's a couple of things I could say to maybe improve that maze going forward, obviously it is its first year, so I will be less kind of firm with this one, because it is obviously a first and second run through. It will obviously try and get better throughout the event for other people, and of course with time it will get better through the years as well. If I could suggest a couple of things to maybe not change it, but kind of even enhance the experience a lot more. I think more zombie archaeologists, or more kind of undead archaeologists sort of trapped by this tomb and cursed. I think that would be a nice addition. And, I was talking about this with family on the way back. I think that the idea that, if you don't know mummification, basically they like to pull like the brain through the nose where you hook. I'd like to see some maybe hanging hooks. Even in the tomb scene or in one of the scenes, maybe some hanging, like fake hooks with no sharp ends, with some entrails hanging off and things like that. Maybe even a blood spray just to pay homage to the kind of spray effect inside Barnageddon 3D. I think one thing that was a great tribute to Barnageddon 3D was they kept the water chamber. Now that's been apparently, according to David, David Leon from York Maze Hallowscream, who I spoke to during the night. By the way, massive shout out to you, David. You did brilliantly with this event again. You, Tom, everyone involved. I think that the tribute to Barnageddon 3D with the water chamber, of course, that's been there throughout, as he said. That was a great homage to Barnageddon 3D and Barnageddon as a whole as well. Because like I said, that effect's been there throughout. It's kind of lifespan in that side. So that effect's been there and just kept getting refreshed and stuff like that for, good nearly 15 years now, nearly 14 years now. So I think that was a great homage to Barnageddon. And I think to keep the kind of the kind of paint glowing up a little bit and sort of merge it and collage it with the classic of the Egyptian tomb theming, I think was a nice collage. It didn't clash, in my opinion. Overall, for Necropolis, for a first and second run through, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. It can be improved, but of course, the starting block, I think it's spot on. Let's go into maze number 2. So let's go into maze number 2, and this is 2073. Now, where Necropolis was 6 minutes, this was a 10-minute maze, and it was clear that there were some changes inside that attraction. The entrance was quite stretched far out, so it seemed like some of it had been not removed, but I think placed a bit differently maybe. And I could definitely tell that one the way we got outside. Basically, if you don't know, this is like a post-apocalyptic maze, zombies everywhere, and you're going through the outside section. It's the one with the most outside section, basically, in the maze itself. And For me, with 2073, I'm going to be brutally honest here and say I preferred the route of last year, but I think there was some stuff in there that I liked this year. I really liked. I really liked some of the changes this year. I think that the wooden fencing near the start, I think that kind of section was good. I think that it should have been maybe lit up a bit better. I think maybe a few more ambient lights just to help people see, but also give more of a chilling feel would be nice, if I'm being brutally honest here. I think that, you know, the whole feel of it kind of felt a bit pitch black most of the time, and it was a struggle to see, even though it was probably part of the effect. I think it was a struggle to see on a couple of occasions where you could have done with maybe a couple more lights. The acting quality again was spot on. Got nothing to say about the acting quality because, you know, the actors always do a wonderful job. Obviously nice to see the spray at the end. I think that was a nice little effect. You got some other great scenes in the hospital, going past the combine harvester and the ambulance and things like that. Going past different scenes. I felt like going round the big truck with the red lighting at the bottom again. I think that was spot on. I don't know what it is about 2073 compared to last year. It just didn't feel. I mean, the acting quality was fantastic, and I got jump scared quite a few times. But I think I just preferred the route of last year. I think that's just me trying to get used to something new. If I'm being brutally honest with you, but I still think it's a good maze. I still think it's at a very, very good standard. In fact, I was speaking to family on the way back about this. I think one thing that they suggested to potentially be a new theme to come into that maze if 2073 was to go out either next year or the year after or wherever. I think if 2073 was on its way out in the near future, family suggested a cemetery theme. So you're going through this kind of cemetery or graveyard, and it's like the dead. You bring the zombies back in. It's like a new version of the undead theme. So, I mean, that's something to maybe consider from personal feedback. But I think overall 2073 was good this year. I preferred the route of last year personally, but I think I still need to get used to the new route a bit more. Like I said, the acting quality was good. The lighting where it was great. I think the lighting where they were was fantastic. For me, though, like I said, I just preferred the route of last year, and I think it's just personal preference. I think I just need to have more time to get used to the new route. If it's the same route as this year for next year, I think I'll get used to it a lot more, and I think if they put a couple more lighting pieces in there to the dark spots outside near the start, I think that would probably help the experience a little bit, especially if it's like a nice chilling blue light or a bloodthirsty red light. I think that could give it a more cannibalistic nature. The TARDIS finale, you're walking through the phone box, you know, you meet the Doctor in a parallel universe, it seems. Obviously it is part of the story, you know, travelling to 2073, and, you know, it's post-apocalyptic. Basically the new end, well, it seems like a new ending anyway from what I can remember from last year. Seems like the ending this year is more about you walk into this, you know, the entrance to this TARDIS, this time machine, and basically he's like, right, I fixed the future, let's get you back to 2023, and you go through, you know, the ending. Obviously the big cyber light walk at the start, the big light tunnel that you walk through at the start before you go outside, I think that kind of hinted that you were going forward into the future, and then the time machine kind of takes you back into the future. I would have personally liked, if it was possible, to have done the time machine at the start, and maybe a light walk with a sound effect or like a voice effect with the light tunnel at the end of the experience, to maybe say, okay, we've fixed the future, let's send you back to 2023, step forward into the cyber tunnel, and let's get you back to the present day. I think maybe an old switcheroo with those two maybe could work a little bit better, but I did like it. I did like the direction. I think it could be switched around to make it even better. But 2073 for me, like I said, great maze, and you know, it has improved in certain sections. Just need that extra couple of bit of lighting, and maybe the switcheroo with the start and the end with the cyber tunnel and the time machine. But that's not a massive bit of feedback. That's like a little personal preference, but I think it still works. Overall, though, 8 out of 10 for 2073. A wonderful post-apocalyptic Back to the Future style attraction, and well worth the wait. Let's go into the third maze of the night. So we go into maze number 3, and this is Corny's Cornevil. This is the Twisted Sinister Funhouse. 6.5 minute maze. This is all about going through this funhouse, extreme, sort of sinister, twisted carnival of fear. And it's Corny's plan, and you're experiencing all of the effects inside. definitely improved from last year. It was great last year, much improved again this year. The props, again, were all Cornevil themed, and it fitted with the walls and the lighting, and the acting quality, again, spot on. I'm going to keep saying it on every maze. The acting quality was spot on. For me, with Corny's Cornevil, it felt nice to see things lit up and glowing, and you've got the big squeeze, shall we say, the big cushiony tunnel where you're going down, again with the acts on the side sort of scaring you as you're going through this kind of squishy tunnel. I think that was spot on again. For me, I think that the story was a bit more to follow as well. The slanted floor, love it. Absolutely love the slanted floor in Corny's Cornevil. In fact, I noticed it with Necropolis. Obviously, Corny's Cornevil also has the kind of section of floor where it's like switching from left to right. Obviously, you know what I mean. Necropolis kind of had a vibrating floor a couple of times as well, just to sort of add to the Necropolis review. But Corny's Cornevil, keeping that flooring was nice. Having the slanted bit as well was just spot on. We love that slanted bit. They kind of took it easy on me this year, the actors. They kind of just let me past and didn't stop me on the halfway point this year. So, thank you for being kind. Obviously, some fantastic elements to that maze. The mirror maze at the start was just spot on as always. A couple more acts in there in that one. The shrinking tunnel straight afterwards, I'll be honest, I keep expecting those wooden doors, someone to jump out and just say, hiya. I'm expecting a couple of jump scares with that shrinking tunnel. Maybe that's something they could look into for next year as a bit of an extra extreme to the maze. Obviously not one right next to you, but I'd maybe like one of the furthest doors and have one of the acts at the back of the shrinking tunnel as well. Just something to maybe look at as a potential option for the future. But I loved it anyway. You know, Corny's Cornevil keeps improving year on year on year, and you know, I got to experience reincarnation as well, reincarnation. You know, in a previous light as well, and you know that was a great maze already. So it was nice to see the additions with Corny's Cornevil in 2019 as a bit of an extra to reincarnation after 6 years of going as a maze. And for me, it felt a lot refreshed. I think it felt a lot new and updated, even though not much had looked like it had changed in there. They kept it up to date, which I think was spot on. Overall, for Corny's Cornevil, I'm going to give that 8 out of 10 as well. I think it's just spot on and a wonderful, wonderful twisted maze. Let's go into maze number 4, the Flesh Pot. So the Flesh Pot is a sinister slaughterhouse, and it's been going since 2016. It's the longest serving maze at the event currently at the moment. Now, this was, again, much improved. I think the one major thing I need to say with Flesh Pot here is the start, the pie shop, the beginning. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved the differences. I think that the actress with the torch and the kind of sheet of the human body, and then letting you through into inside the slaughterhouse, I think that was a nice difference. Was it the best difference they could have gone with? If I'm being brutally honest, no. My personal favourite start to Flesh Pot was when they used the pie shop as a bit of a pre-show and sort of batched you in group by group, and kind of had that pause in between. So you do the pre-show in the pie shop with the actress or actor, and then you get led in. So for me personally, I would like to see Flesh Pot go back to, in terms of the start, have the pie shop bring you into the story. Have the actor or actress telling you for a minute or two about Leonard Dunnington, his slaughterhouse. You're about to enter. Be careful, there might be creatures roaming around. You know, there's people that still haven't been slaughtered yet and things like that. So I think something like that, a bit of a pre-show, kind of like, you know, I referenced Donks to Fear Factory a couple of times because I think that a couple of their mazes had like mini pre-shows or pre-shows. Legend of Crackle Hill had a pre-show for a minute where it tells you the story and then gives you the access. Something like that would be lovely for this one. Didn't know where I was going until he sort of nodded and sort of went that way, the right direction, for a minute. So, you know, he kind of improvised a bit when I didn't know where I was going at one point, and things like that. And overall, like I said, the Flesh Pot has definitely made some improvements from last year and kept building on that. I think it's just missing that added pre-show at the start now and maybe a couple of lighting changes here and there. But overall, Flesh Pot, decent enough. Oh, out of 10, I'm going to give the Flesh Pot a 7. I'm going to talk about at the end of the video what mazes could be on the way out or might need a refresh at the end, is my personal opinion. But for now, we're going to talk about the next maze on the list. And of course, we've talked about Flesh Pot 2073, we've talked about Cornevil and the new maze Necropolis. What is remaining? Well, it's the Singularity. Let's discuss it. So after talking about 2073, which is a 10-minute maze, Necropolis, the new maze, at 6 minutes, and after the Flesh Pot at 5 minutes, and of course talking about the Corny's Cornevil, which is 6.5 minutes, we need to talk about the other maze, the final maze, and the second one at 6.5 minutes, and that is the Singularity. Now, this was the one I was most critical of last year, and that is because I wanted to see some changes in there. Last year, it felt like a bit of a family-friendly, sci-fi themed walkthrough, where the theming was great, but the scares weren't there last year. This year, the scares have been ramped up big time. Big up to every single actor inside that Singularity, including my friend Casey. Hi, Casey. Shout out to you. Yeah, thanks for scaring me. Yeah, like I said about Singularity before last year, the theming is always top notch. The theming inside Necropolis and Singularity just sets it apart from other stuff around the site, and it's kind of like the example of what to set and things like that. Some wonderful trickery in there. Inside the maze, good sci-fi screens, the big squeeze cushion tunnel with the screens above you was just fantastic. The level of detail that went in that, the sci-fi audio that was going on, the big swing, we call it the big swing, a big boulder that swings above your head as you're walking through a kind of breakout section, I guess, where it's like, it kind of feels like a bit like the lunatics taking over the asylum in a way. It's a bit like an asylum kind of basement area of the laboratory in a way. That's kind of my initial feeling anyway. And again, I thought that was top notch. The acting was spot on. Again, shout out Casey for giving me a nice scare, a couple of scares in there. Yeah, great sections all around. Obviously, no smoke effect again this year. However, it has been changed and slightly replaced with some new scenes and some new changes to the scenes as well. And I think they've run the changes quite well with that one and added some new stuff in there to really give you a different ending this time around. And I think that, I love the changes for Singularity. Got no problem with that. I still think, compared to the other mazes, I think Singularity is still, the weakest maze of the 5, in my personal opinion. But it's one of the better themed of the 5. I think Singularity and Necropolis and maybe Corny's Cornevil has got the best theming inside. I think Flesh Pot as well. 2073 is less so, but I think that it's still got some good theming there. But in terms of like scares and in terms of like a scare maze, I think it's probably the weakest of the 5 still, in my opinion. But it was definitely better than last year, which shows progress, which is always fantastic. And I prop up Hallowscream for that as well. Out of 10 then for Singularity, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. So 3 7s and 2 8s. Not too bad of a rating for the mazes this year. I don't think, to be honest with you, with the ratings for the mazes, I don't think any of them kind of wowed me enough to get a 9 or a 10, even the new maze. But they weren't bad, if you get what I mean. They're all good mazes in their own way. None of them kind of really were outstanding. But I think that's just my experience. I think it was just me because I've done most of these mazes before in previous years and I'd seen the progress of these mazes from different forms and when they first came in and the changes that keep happening throughout the mazes. For me, I think I need to see a maze now that's going to wow me. I need to see a brand new maze that's going to wow me, which we're going to talk into now. So we're going to go on to our spoiler-free summary of the event as a whole and what I think could be changed to make Hallowscream 2024 even better than this year. So here we are, the spoiler-free summary. If you are here and you're tuned in again, then welcome back. Those of you who have stuck with us through the spoilers, thank you very much for sticking for them if you did want to watch them. Really don't mind you if you want to watch spoilers. If you did skip them, then fair enough. You don't want your experience spoiled. I totally get that. So here's the spoiler-free summary of the event. Overall, very good. Better advertised, better signposted around the site. The ticketing system changes, I think, worked very well. The mazes itself were spot on. They were all different in their own way. By the way, they're all free roam mazes. I think I can not spoil that. They're all free roam mazes. So there's no different types of mazes. But now it goes into the discussion of what about different types of mazes? What maze could be on the way out and what maze could you bring in? Now, I talked about 2073, maybe a cemetery graveyard experience to replace that in the future, near or long term. I still think Singularity is the weakest of the 5, but to be fair, they've made some changes in there this year, so I don't think Singularity is going to go anywhere next year. So I've got a feeling that Singularity is going to stay. If anyone from Hallowscream can kind of confirm that, then please, message me or email me privately to sort of confirm that if you can. So if you take Singularity away from it, which I think should be the one getting replaced next year if you're going to bring in a new maze, you're probably looking at either Fleshpot or Corny's Cornevil, and Corny's Cornevil's made some good changes this year, but so has Fleshpot. So you'd maybe look at Fleshpot with it being the oldest maze. So Fleshpot could be up there, Singularity could definitely be up there, 2073 could be up there. I think Corny's Cornevil's probably the safest maze out of the 5 because of the fact that it's improved the most. Necropolis obviously still a new maze. They can still make some extra stuff in there, some extra changes, adjust it a bit more and make it even more better or more improved. So I think the Necropolis is obviously still going to be there anyway, so I'm not really too fussed about that because I think there's some real big potential with Necropolis. I think they just need to add a bit more to it. But as a starter, for a first year, it was great. So you'd probably say Corny's Cornevil because of the improvements and Necropolis because it's a new maze are probably the 2 safest mazes at the event for next year. The other 3, in their own way, are up for debate for next year, depending on the situation financially with the event and also what they plan to do. So, for me, if you're going off for me personally, I would bring in 2 new mazes. I'd be looking at the Singularity and I'd be looking at 2073 potentially. I'd keep Fleshpot maybe 1 more year. Maybe give it a refreshed storyline a bit more and maybe go out on a bang with the Fleshpot Slaughterhouse Boarded or something like that. I'm thinking off the top of my head, so it's very poor. But you see, like, with what other mazes did, I think Extreme Scream Park did, like, a finale kind of curtain call style storyline for one of their longest running mazes when it exited in its last year. So I'd like to see maybe, like, an exit kind of thing for Fleshpot. 2073 and Singularity I could see going. If you're going to replace both of them, I'd replace Singularity with a completely new theme because 2073 kind of uses the time machine anyway. So if you're going to replace Singularity, use a different theme. Same with 2073. So I could see with Singularity a pirate theme or a dark western theme. With 2073, I could see the graveyard theme coming in. So I think that's kind of my overall thoughts, really. But overall, in terms of the event, I'd rate it at least 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, maybe pushing towards an 8 with a couple of the mazes. So I think overall it's a great event, and I really recommend you do go and check out York Maze Hallowscream. Again, thank you very much to everyone at York Maze Hallowscream for sending me the invite this year again. Can't wait to attend next year as well. Fingers crossed. Make sure you go to the website to buy your tickets for the event as well. I am the CHALL. Thank you very much for watching. Ta-ra for now.